Right, side steps. The Stig is going to get some side steps. A lot of you have asked, can you do a video, Simon, how to fit side steps? Well, I've got no idea how to fit them, but I, as ever, will have a go. Tyler's helping me. Right, so we are going to... Now, why would you want to fit side steps? Right, if you lend your car to people and they take it to a wedding and bring it back scratched, that may not have happened if I'd have had side steps. So we had a bit of a disaster. I lent it to my friend and it came back with a big scratch all down here and in here. And in the end, I got 2 new doors fitted. Now, if I'd have had the side steps and they were stuck out this far, would the side steps have taken one for the team? Would they have taken the damage? Or at least you've noticed before you get onto the softness. Now, there's a couple of things about side steps. We have under here wave sensors, and that tells you how high the water is as you're going. Now, apparently, if you've got side steps, it's obviously not going to work because it's just going to see the side step. Once the water's above the side step, you're getting fairly serious, then at least it would be useful then. So I think, yeah, so you need to think about that. Now, I would test it, but my weight sensors are still not talking to me, but we've got it booked into the dealer to have a look at that. Anyway, right, what else do we need to know about side steps? So, side protection, they'll probably act as a bit of a mud flap sort of thing as well to stop mud coming up the side of your car. They'll also help you get in and out your car, and they look cool, and they'll give you some side protection. Disadvantages, you're adding weight to your car, might add a bit more noise. You might, depending on how you get in the car, sometimes they can actually, you sort of trip over them a bit as you're getting in. And lastly, I'm trying to think, will it affect when you're off-roading and you're going over a hump, you've got that breakover angle, haven't you? And if you've got anything that sits lower, you will reduce your ground clearance. So, and the brackets do come underneath. So you do need to think about it. They're not the be-all and end-all, but we are going to have a look and we are going to fit them and let's see how we get on. Right, so this is the part, this is what you get. Tyler, if you go the other end, you can see the part number.
There it is.
So these are genuine Land Rover ones. Now, I see they already have been replicated, copied, and I'm sure there will be various different versions. So I've actually not had a look at these much at all. We always like to look at how they're packed, don't we, Tom?
Yeah,
We're big
it's a bit of fun.
Packing. You can tell the quality of a product by how well it's packed. Is it damaged? What have you? Right then. Oh, right then. It's a good cardboard box. Right then. Right. Okay, so let me mask up a bit because me and Tyler are getting a bit closer now. Right, so what have we got here? We have got the ubiquitous instructions that give you a scan that just take you to the generic website there. It would be good if they took you to the exact fitting for this product, which it doesn't. Right, we've got some foam, sponge, we like that, haven't we?
We love those.
We love those. Cardboard would be better though, wouldn't it? Because it would be more recyclable. Right.
Bit of honeycomb cardboard.
Right, so we'll unwrap these in a minute, but we can see they've got some nice plastic steps. We'll look at what materials they've used and the like. Right, so we've got 2 of those steps, Tyler. Hopefully a pair. Yeah, they look like a pair. We have got tape to the bottom, a fitting kit. Now they've had a bit of a disaster with the fitting kit. They could have used the space a little better. It's a little bit. Yeah, they've lost a bit of the.
Oh, it's all there.
There's a little room to improve there. Right, what else have we got? We've got that, we've got that. Right, so we've got
F.
And R. Right, so I think we've got some front and rear brackets. Right, unless this... Right, so if we have a look at the F's, Tyler.
Oh, I wonder. Maybe it's F for fast. French. Right, so we have some brackets. Now, these appear to be fairly unfinished in terms of paint. They haven't got a sort of painted, or is that like they might have a quick flash of, because you can see where they've ground them off here. So they're unfinished, which is, it's okay. Aluminium, it should say what they are on it. If we've got any, we've got some part numbers here.
CNVUA.
No, I think this is perhaps the right hand front Land Rover. It normally would say what they're cast from, but they're cast brackets. But we haven't got my camera back yet, have we, Tyler, with my clip-on microphone? So I'm sorry about the poor sound quality, but
And we can't zoom in.
we can't zoom in, no.
We haven't got the eyes of a hawk.
Cat should be here today, but we can't wait, Tyler. Maybe later in this video. Right, so now did they say front on them? Sorry, yeah. So that says LA left hand front. You got that?
Yeah.
Right, and that says let's check. We got right hand front. Right, and these are out of the R pot, and we've got right hand rear. Yeah, got that. And
It's 110 as well.
and left hand rear 110. Now a good spot there, Tyler. So maybe the brackets are different. So they're can you see much asymmetry between these brackets? There's not a lot.
I guess the difference.
These two look quite similar. Almost the same. Anyway, so there you go, but at least they've cast it in for you. And there's the fitting kit. Right, let's have a look at the steps.
Want me to hold an end?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh.
I got it. Right then, so we look like we have got an aluminium extruded bar. It's got some riv nuts inserted in it, and these are obviously going to form the mounting point for these to go on. Whoop,
Yeah,
other way. Whoop. Oh my goodness, we'll edit that bit out. We'll edit that
We
bit
probably
out.
won't.
Probably won't. We never do. We leave all
No.
the mistakes in. Don't drop the brackets, look. Look, there you go. So
Okay.
that lines up with that. That hugs that pretty nicely, doesn't it?
It looks quite nice.
So they've really got quite low profile. So we shouldn't be adding a lot of, because I'm worried about ground clearance. That shouldn't be too bad, should it?
No.
And they're not too heavy, you know. Right, what have we got here? So this bit here, what is that? I think it is
Probably
metallic.
It's probably aluminium, isn't
I
it?
don't know, yeah. It doesn't feel plasticky, does it?
No, it's definitely not plastic.
It's not plastic, right. So have we got a thing? Now someone's got this LM6 or LM may well be a grade of aluminium.
Made in the UK.
Made in the UK, that's cool. We like that. Right, so there we go. So we've got those. They're all there. They got they've got Defender written in there. Now, I suspect this swept head even, normally goes at the front. So I just make you far away again. Right, let me take this off, Tyler. Right. So normally this goes at the front, so that when it's on the car, if you hit anything, you're not going to catch anyone's leg or anything there. So you normally have the swept thing. So I think, Tyler, that's going to go on something like that.
There you go, video done.
Video done, there you go. And there you go. Yeah, so side steps fitted. Right, apologies if this is a bit disjointed. I might repeat myself here because we just unwrapped it, unboxed it, started to work on the car, and the car went into the dealers to try and fix the weight sensors. But that is a whole other topic and world of pain. Right, we are now here. Right, and we always like to check whether the bits we've got actually match the kit. So these instructions are online, and I will put the link in the in the description field. Now, we are fitting these which have the double steps, and that's all the bits you should have for that. You can also get a single step, which is obviously for the 90, and that's got slightly different brackets, but much of these other bits are all the same. In fact, they all look the same. Warning to note, this little clip here, you think, oh, I'm going to get 30 of these little grey clips, and we'll show you those, or Tyler will show you now. But it's a bit misleading in my view, in my contentious viewpoint. I think because they've put this here, this is the actual Land Rover part number that is on the packet. But you have to buy these, and they will break, and you do need them. So they should just throw them in the kit for the price of it and the price of the clips. So you will need to order yourself. They tell you how many you'll need, 30. But they're not part of the kit, as it appears to show you. Right, so there we go. So we'll get through all that, and you can also do side tubes without any steps. There we go for the 90. So these instructions are a bit long-winded. Right. This is a good point, isn't it, Tyler? Right. We are going to be doing some work underneath and at the sides and pulling off these plastic trims. And lowering the felty, fluffy stuff that's underneath down. So the higher up you get your car, the easier it is for you. So we raise the suspension on the inside, and then Tyler, bless him, say hello, Tyler.
Hi.
There you go. He said, Simon, why don't you use that super lift tricky button at the back here? And we go, it's moving, it's taking its time, it was sleeping. We've woken it. So you can actually get an extra inch or two at the back by giving that little thing a little pop, 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 pop. Good tip, Tyler. Right, so now we are ready. So we've got the brackets, and the brackets are marked 110, and I think we looked at that 3 weeks ago, Tyler, but I can't remember. So you've got these bolts here, which are M10 by 60. You've got some M10 washers. You've got some M8 by 28 bolts, some M6 by 23, and the clips that we made contentious. How do we do this? Right then. Right, the first thing we've got to do is remove this bit here. Right, I'm going to put my mask on because we're still in COVID times. Right, I'm going to have the camera, and Tyler's the pro, so I'll let him do this. No, they still can't hear you, Tyler. Right, so now, point to note, they gloss over in the instructions. If you have mud flaps fitted, you will have to remove it. And we've done the mud flap fitting video. And there's what, Tyler? Two. There's some bolts sticking up. So we've loosened those to make this video slick and smooth. Right, go on then, Tyler. So you've got to just pull this whole... We'll show you the bolts that you will have to have undone first. Oh. Oh, is it? We've got it. Yeah, because there's sort of two ways this can come apart. So how are we going to do this, Ty? What are you going to do now?
Oh, it's bolted through because of the mud flap.
Because of the mud flap. Yeah. That's it. Go on. Oh, there's clips flying everywhere. Right. So there's actually two panels. We'll go back and look at the instructions. But there's this sort of inner panel. But when you've got mud flaps fitted, the two panels are bolted together. And half the time it will come off the back panel, half the time it will come off like they've shown in the instructions. Now, what you will note straight away is these clips, which should be grey clips, but we've got the white and yellow ones, they would have broken. Now ours, these yellow and white clips, they've got rid of those and gone to grey ones. And actually the yellow and white ones are good because they didn't break, they just separated. So you will have to replace these, and this should be accounted for in those 30 grey clips you've got. That you've had to get anyway. So there's two on each side. That's 4 down on our 30 anyway. Right, so now we're waffling. So what have we got to do now, Tyler? So that's the first bit done.
Got to go to the other end.
Right, let's go and check the instructions. So just to show you the mud flap, so this is the front mud flap Tyler ripped off with his teeth earlier. And the two bolts that we hadn't shown you came up through these two holes here, and it sandwiches this plate. Now, we were just looking at this plate. We haven't had these on long, and look at that powder coating is all peeled off. Now, right, this is actually stainless steel. I don't know why they powder coated it. And the problem they've got, if anyone from Land Rover is listening, if you laser cut this steel, you get a really sharp edge on this corner here, and you cannot powder coat over a sharp edge. We know from experience, we've tried doing it. And you can see that all the way along the laser cut edges, it's all peeling off. So there we go. I mean, might as well just peel it off, but because you can't see it anyway. And if it's stainless, which is good, thumbs up for stainless. We like the stainless, but there's just skip the powder coating. Right. So that bolt. So that's what you have to do there. Right, back to the car. Right. Next job we got to do is at the back of the car here. There's a little rear air deflector at the back of the sill, just next to the wheel. Again, you can look at these instructions yourself. That screen, that's better. And so what we've got to do is we've got to undo. So there's two bolts at the side, two bolts going up underneath, and one at the side. We should be able to get that just, yeah. Right, so let's go and have a look at that on the car. Tyler's got his new favourite toy, not the torch. There. Right, so we're at the rear here. Let's have a look what we've got under here, Tyler. So we have tried to colour all the bits orange for you. So we've got one up under there. Thank you, Tyler. Two there, and then if we come around the other side, there's two sort of next to the wheel. So let's whip those off, Tyler. Have a look at that. Now there will be some more bits you need to order as well, so keep listening. I'll tell you what else you need to order. Right, so if you've got the 90, you'll have to, optimise my PC. What's happening, Tyler? It's all going, I don't want to optimise my PC, it's lush. Right, if you've got the 90, you're lucky. You've just got this little corner panel you have to remove. If you've got the 110, you've got to remove your rear wheel arch. Now, we've got extended arches, but the extended arches don't impact this bit, do they, Tyler?
No.
This is the same whether you've got the extended arches or not. And the reason we need to remove that is there's a bit of this plastic sill trapped behind here, and we need to get this plastic sill off. So we might better just pull it off at the bottom. And look, it's got some of the, we've got some of those little clips, Tyler. And another one of those. Right, go on then, Tyler, let's watch you do it. Here he goes. He loves wrecking my car.
Putting it back together with the ball.
Yes. Right then. Well, that's the bit. Hold on, I need some light, Tyler. Hold on. That's better. That's better. Right, so is there any particular way you'd like to do this, Tyler?
Get a good grip.
Get a grip.
Obviously, you really need to pull up from the bottom. I'm not really worried about anything up here, so.
Yeah. That's it. Now, that's all we need to do, really, isn't it? Because what we're trying to get to is that clip there. So, yeah, just leave him dangling. Right, there we go. So that's that. And have we broken any clip in doing that, Tyler, do you think? Because you got the white, you got that clip up inside there. He seems all right.
It's all right. Oh, I've lost the white clip.
You've lost. He's in there, is he? Oh yeah. If you fish him out, yeah, that'll be all right. Right, that's not too bad. Right, let's go and have a look what the next step is. Right, now they want us to get under the car. So this is a view looking up at the bottom side of the car. You can see the doors here, and going up vertically into the underside are these two-stage poppers. So what we've got to do is pull out the middle bit of the popper, and then we can pull out the whole thing. It's a plastic rivet, and it's saying there's 9 of them along the side. So let's go and have a look at those. So if you look under the car here, you can see now we've put little orange crosses, but every now and again you'll see, now there's some you'll miss, aren't there? Because they're like right at the front and stuff, aren't they, Tyler? But make sure you get the 9. They haven't lied on the 9. Yeah, so Tyler started this one, so show us. So it's 2 parts. You get the first bit and then the second bit. Right, we are now ready to rip what I would call the sill cover off. So, right, yeah, it sort of goes up behind the doors a little bit. You'll see here. So you have to open your doors a bit because it's that whole bit of plastic now. You're going to start at one end, Tyler? I guess so.
I'll start at one end and hit the other.
Yeah, but it's sort of, you got to, the problem you get is that gap between the door there. Right. Oh, there we go. And you can hear the clips breaking away.
They all break.
They all break. You just got to rip it off. Make sure you got that clip out underneath. Check the underneath loose, Tyler. Has he missed one?
Oh, maybe just tucked.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Right, yeah, unhitch that one. Right. So while Tyler's doing that, you see how close it gets on that door trim there? And you've got to do it with the doors open. It catches on that rubber. I can just rip the top off. Oh, he's ripped. Now, I will put a shot of us doing this when it was full of mud and it was quite grizzly. So we've actually taken the car apart, cleaned it all and put it back together again, believe it or not. Right. How are you doing there, Tyler? You got it? But yeah, all these clips break. These grey clips just... Door. Do you reckon close it a little bit?
There's one more behind this. There you go.
Yeah. So it's just those doors that make that. Right, let's go and put that in the light and we'll have a look at that. Right, so these are the collection of parts we are getting so far. We have got the mud flaps, window deflectors. We've just put the bolts in piles there. Keep everything together, even though all the bolts are the same. Makes it easier. We've then got the sill removed. This took a lot of washing. This little sort of foam was full of mud. It took ages to wash it out. So yours may or may not be clean, depending whether you've been off-roading. Now, you won't have these orange lines, and these are cutouts we've got to do later. So that's me just getting prepared. And if you notice, there's a little RH and LH on there. Right, so we'll get the other side off. And then we'll be all up to the same stage. And then I think we're going to go out to the ramps, aren't we, Tyler?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so as we go through the video, we take a lot more parts off and you can continue watching. But actually we work out in the end that there's no need to take the 2 under trays we're about to take off. You can actually, they only need a little nibble putting in them, and you can do it on the car. So if you see the sills I've just taken off there, I've got those orange markings on. I would recommend that you take those sills with the orange markings and then jump ahead. I'll try and put the time in a little note on the screen now. Jump ahead. You can watch and see the proper way as per the instructions, but jump ahead, because all you need to do is cut the felt under trays on the car, and then you can start bolting the brackets on. So there we go, continue watching or jump ahead. Enjoy. Right, we've got the Defender up on the ramps outside. Might be a bit wind noisy, but I want to show you the bolts we've got to undo. So if you climb under here with me. Right, so it's these felty bits here we've got to take off next. So they're sort of underguards, but they're sort of a bit... Now we've coloured all the bolts. Now we had problems with one of these riv nuts on this back little metal plate. They've got little riv nuts on the top. I don't know if you can see there. But one of them, the riv nut was spinning, which we weren't too happy about. But so you can see you've got the bolts along the back here. Then you've got some in the side. And they sort of follow down the middle column here. There you go, all along. They're quite obvious where they are. Obviously they won't be orange, okay? And then when you get to this bottom bit, you've got like this side panel here. You've got to undo this one. And then you've got to take this metal plate here off. So these back bolts are slotted, so you only need to loosen these. You don't, well, I haven't said that, Tyler, you've probably got to take them out actually, haven't you? Because they hold this top bit in, so forget that. But when you're putting it back in, you can put these in, which will hold the thing, and you can just slot them in, which makes it much easier single-handedly. And then you've got a couple of fixings hidden up in this. There's a little bracket hidden up there. So you've got one of those each side. You've got these ones here which are quite pronounced in the middle. You've got ones at the corner here. And then you've got these 2 here which are the different ones. You know, I kept saying there was 2 with different heads. It's these 2 here. Okay? So there we go. So if I zoom back a bit and get as low as I can, that'll give you an indication. Now, so they're all the same bolts other than those 2 at the front there. And you just go up both sides and zip those off. Right, let's get Tyler going on those and we'll watch him a bit. Now, obviously we've got it on the ramp, but you can do this on the floor easily enough. Right, I think we've got them all now. So I've been holding up the rear end for Tyler there, and that just slots out now. So there we go. So that's the panel you need to remove. So there's 2 of those, and we'll have a look at the central one in a minute. Right, so we're just taking this. I'm not entirely sure why we need to take this underplate off. Thinking about it, Tyler. They definitely say to remove it though, don't they?
Definitely.
We might have to, anyway, we'll follow the instructions. Right, now I'm just gonna, the 2 different bolts are these 2 at the very front here in the middle, and they're Torx T30. Right, there we go, slide that out the side, I got it Tyler, so I'll slide it out to you there. Right, look at me under here. What a glamorous life I lead, Tyler. So, we are, oh, I'm not scratching my jumper. Right, we are going to get inside now, we'll put it inside, and we'll start looking at where we bolt the brackets on and where we cut the sills out, and see if we can work out why we needed to take that metal plate off. Anyway, it's only 2 minutes, it's no biggie. Right, you join us, it's actually the next morning, so we brought the car in, and we've got all the bits laid out here. Now, probably worth washing them. If you're planning on doing this project, I would have a break at this point. So, these sills, as you'll see from the little clip I put in, were covered in mud. So you're going to want to wash them. And they took a while to dry, didn't they, Tyler? Because this foam filled up with water. And also this sort of seemed to absorb, it did absorb water, didn't it, Tyler? Because they were heavy as, weren't they? So we actually put these by the radiator and let them dry off. So yeah, you might want to go, right, I'll get those bits off, because that's a nice place to stop. Then stop, let everything dry, and then come and finish the rest the next day, if you have the luxury to do these things. Right then,
Yeah, obviously the guys in the dealership can't do that. We love the dealership guys, don't we? They're good. They're good. Right then. So let's have a little look here. We are right. So the next step. Stop talking to me. Is you have to cut out some bits. Now these are going to be where the brackets are going to come from inside the car, and this is obviously the outside. You can see my jacking point markers, and this is where the step is going to rest. So we need to cut a little scallop out. Now these are actually marked on the car, on the plastics, and I will show you on the other one. And what we need to do is get the orange pen out. The orange pen's getting quite famous now, isn't it, Tyler?
It's good.
It's good. Orange pen.
Might have to change colour.
Might have to change colour. You can tell where I've been working on my car with the orange pen. Right then. So you go round like this, okay? So come here, Tyler, have a little look. See now, if you're not sure, because it's quite hard to see, I'll come up to your level, Tyler. So it's because you've got quite a lot, and it can be a bit confusing. You've got like a mark here, and although it's relatively clear, but as a little double check before you go hacking the wrong bit, see this little bit of foam here, big bit of foam here. If you go in the middle of the little bit of foam, that's one bit you need to cut out, and can you catch the light there, Tyler?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And on the big bit of foam, about the middle, near the left hand, you'll see this other cut out, and it's kind of a funky shape. I don't quite know why it needs to be so funky. And also you will note that the funkiness is different. So if I put these two next to each other, this one here seems to be the same sort of funkiness, but this other one, they've got a different mounting point. So you can see I've lined these mounts up here, but this one does a little bit of an offset squiggle. And they for some reason have had to get that to go. Can you see that, Tyler? There?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will colour these in orange now with the orange pen. Cute orange pen. Where's the orange pen? Private joke me and Tyler have got going on.
They just have to laugh along.
What's that?
They'll just have to laugh along.
Yeah. There are some other people that will understand the orange pen jokes. Right then. There we go. We love the orange pen. I'm being called out, humiliated. There we go, right. So we got that done. Now, cut in plastic. We got good at this on the winch video, didn't we, Tyler? And we invested in numerous ways of cutting. Now, I think the two most effective ways we've got them here. We haven't tried this yet, so I'm going to make myself comfy on the stool here, Tyler. And let's have a go. If I can do it without cutting through my leg. Let's have a go. Right, now the trouble is we've got a bit of a funky curve. I'm going to try Dremel. The Dremel has a nasty habit of coming out on top every time, doesn't he? Right, I don't want to hit my leg here. Make sure you wear safety glasses. Here we go. Let's have a look if we can do this. Now actually, Tyler, I'm going to get that new attachment for the end. I've got this new attachment that gives me a sort of flat base, so I'm going to try and see if I can use it. That's the way to do that, isn't it, Tyler?
It's accurate.
You've got the nice flat surface there, so you can keep that nice and flat. You can look at it from this side, because it doesn't matter that you're sort of, because you can see the blade coming through. So I'm going to finish this. You don't need to watch me. Well, that's a bit trickier there, Tyler, but we can freestyle that little bit there and do the other. Right, let's get going. Right, we have got this off. So we've cut these out, we've filed them-ish, we've done a fairly neat job. I say I left Tyler to do it and I went and had a cup of tea. Right, now what we've got to do is you've got to get the sill that corresponds with the sound deadening shield. And what you've got to do is you've got to line them up. Now, the giveaway is this big cut up here will be next to your, I'm going to say rear jacking point. That is the rear jacking point, isn't it?
Yeah, rear.
And what you've got to try and do is line up. I've used my orange pen again. You've got to line up these little holes with the corresponding one. So just get them so everything is dish, right? And when you're happy with that, what you got to do is mark 2 little marks on here, right? And what we've got to do is we've got to cut back 50 millimeters. Now actually, as it goes inside, that's it. It's going to narrow back a little bit, isn't it? Like
yeah, but I don't think it matters too much.
oh, we got to get it, Tyler. We got to be professional here. Right, now, they're saying, you see I've gone back nearly to the crease there. They do give us a dimension. Should we go American or English? Or 2 inches for the Americans, or 50 centimetres for the Europeans. What are we going to use now going forward, Tyler? Do you reckon we'll go backwards and start using inches?
I reckon we'll make up a new one.
There you go, right. And then, so again, make sure we're all lined up. And then we got to go here. Oh, I better not go too close to that hole. We'll leave a bit of hole there. And then come back again. And then he's going there. Right, now we haven't worked out how to cut this stuff yet, but we're going to have a go. Right, there we go. We're going to have a go at using tin snips. We haven't used tin snips with you before, have we, Tyler?
Not on video.
Not on video. Right, and I reckon that seems to want to...
I don't think we've ever used it on tin.
Oh, yes. That may well be the case. What else is there in life that's useful, intended or designed for one purpose, and then exclusively used for? Well, I'm gonna do a little funny bit manoeuvre here, Tom. I wonder if we can file this stuff. I can come in on this way now. Oh, look at that. It's a funny old material. I think it's probably made from, oh look, it's got some like sort of fibres in it. It's quite a trick. Hopefully it's made from some recycled, it feels like it should be made from some recycled components, which is good, isn't it, Tyler?
Don't know if that it is, but hopefully it is.
I think it might be. They are really doing a good job. I've got to give Land Rover credit. Even on the Evoque, they reckon that the interior was something like 70% recycled material, which was really good. There we go. We will do the other one, and then we'll get on to the next step. Oh my good. I've lost. Oh, failure. Right. Why are we playing Pac-Man? We got like we keep the look. The boss will come down. Right. What have we got to do next, Tyler? So we've now got to fix the brackets. So the instructions are telling us if you look along the side of the car, you will find where the brackets are going to mount. Now, I thought this little shape looked like the little ghosts on Pac-Man. And yeah, you can play Pac-Man on Google. You just Google Pac-Man and you can have a cheeky little relaxing game of Pac-Man. Right, so there and there. And if you look along there's no other little Pac-Man ghosts until you get to here. And you can see them there. So this is where the brackets are going to go. Now what they're telling me on the instructions is, I guess there's going to be 2 bolts go in the front and 2 bolts go up. Now they're saying you've already, for some random reason, got a bolt in there that we're going to have to take out first. So we got one there, we'll get the spanner on that. Right, and have we got the same on the back as well, Tyler, have we? Yeah. Let me clean all that up, look. There we go, and so we got, so there's 2 bolts here. So we are going to remove those. Now, let me go and have a look at the instructions. What does it say about our friends in North America? Have they got something different and funky going on there? Let's have a look. Oh, look, Tyler, look. That's my air tank under there, look.
It is.
Aluminium, which is good, isn't it? We like aluminium. It doesn't corrode as badly as the steel one. So that is, do you know what you've seen that before, Tyler? That's the missile on the top of the smart car.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it?
I know. Right, anyway, we digress. Right, so we've just had a look. Now our friends in America, North America, this is what NAS stands for. You appear to have this extra funky blue plate. Goodness knows what it does. But you appear to have the luxury of 2 bolts going up at the front that you need to remove. You don't remove the plate. It doesn't say to remove the plate, does it, Tyler?
No.
No. There you go. For NASA Vercomo's off.
And it looks like you're the same at the back, so that could have, it's just like the rest of us. Right then, and then put those in the bin, or don't put them in the bin, Tyler, put them in the nuts and bolts drawer. The brackets hopefully will have right hand front or left hand rear, and obviously the 110 and the 90 brackets are different. So if you've got it for your 90 or 110, it'll have different things. So we are going to get some bolts and get on with the next step. Right, we are now ready to fit the brackets then. So I've got them all laid out. I've drawn a picture of a car. It's pretty bad. They're the front, left, right. They're the rear, left, right. Right, now let's start at the front. So we need the front right-hand bracket, which is this one. And it's going to go uncut. And this single hole, because there's two, the single hole is what's going to hold the step. So that's going to go out like that. Right, and these big badgers here, these are going to go up through like this. Now, the smaller bolts, which we're going to put on the M8, actually, if you look in there, Tyler, you can see that hole is threaded. So they will go in, but we'll look at that later. Now, this is where it gets slightly more interesting. These washers here are only needed if you're an ROW person. So in America, you won't need these, because if you remember on the screen, we saw that the North American spec vehicles had that extra plate at the front. So remember, this is the front. So we don't have a plate, so we have to make up for our lack of thickness with these spacers. So we are going to have one of those, and we're going to have another one of these. Right, now, here's a point of contention on the internet, isn't it, Tyler? Right, Tyler's put some copper grease on there now, which is good, because that will stop things seizing. Now, I was a bit worried we were screwing into aluminium, because a lot of the structure on this Defender is aluminium, but you will see when we dive under the car in a second that the bit that these go into and go through here is actually, but this is aluminium, Tyler. So we ought to be careful. The contentious point is going to be, do we put copper grease on these, because we'll have steel bolts going into aluminium, and that could cause galvanic corrosion apparently. But it's a right load of beef. Everyone's going, I've been putting bolts on my motorbike for 20 years and I've never had a problem. So I am not going to get into the debate. I'm going to copper grease these and I'm going to leave these, so I don't want to get into that debate. But yeah, if you've got 2 hours to waste, just go read in the internet about copper grease and aluminium. Right, we're good with that, aren't we? Right, in fact, I'm going to grab 2 of these bolts ungreased as well, Tyler. Right, so we've got the spacers on. Right, where's our little Pac-Man ghost? So if you look underneath here, Tyler, if you furnish us with that light, thank you, you will see that this dirty black plate here, and we're going to go up into this, is actually steel. So we're all good to go. So let me see if I can, in one nifty move. Right, and the bracket goes behind, or goes in between really, goes in between the, oh, there we go. Alright, we'll tighten those up later. Now, if you come right down the front, Tyler, if I slide along a little bit, you will see that when you know you've got it right, these holes, you can see it moving, will line up exactly. If it's not lining up, you haven't got those spacers right, is my guess. I wonder how I know that, Tyler. Do you reckon it's because we didn't put the spacers on?
Might be the second time we're doing
this. It might be the second time we're doing this. If we look better than normal at doing this, it's because we mucked it up the first time.
That's every video, I think.
But we did realise, we scratched our head for a second, didn't we, Tyler? It didn't look right.
The amount of stuff we don't show.
Yeah. We do a video on we're pretty honest with most of it, aren't we, Tyler? I don't think we're the slickest operation. Right, we are going to get some sockets and some Torx. We'll get them, and then Tyler will tell us what size they all are. Right, in fact, I think I'll get the back one ready as well. So the back one is exactly the same bolts, just no spacers. So I'll get those and we'll come back and tighten these up. Right, so we've got a 13mm socket here. I'm not going to do them super tight yet. Oh, he says. That.
Clip.
That looks a little bit. Alright, yeah. And then what's this T40, Tyler? Yep. Oh. 'Cause, 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 obviously we'll have a look at the torques, but you need to be a little bit careful with these because obviously you're threading into aluminium, so you've got to, you can't go too tight. They're smaller bolts. I guess the torque's going to be bigger for those two, but we'll go and check what the instructions say. But there we go. We've got basically resting on and semi-secure. We've got the front and rear brackets, so you can start to see now how it's all going to go back together fairly quickly now. Right, so those bolts on those brackets, we're not going to tighten up fully until the end. It looks like it's virtually the last job, because I think they want to leave it so that if you have to squiggle it a bit to get the bolts lined up for the steps. Right, so we're on to the steps. So you can see that they have the lovely word Defender written in them, and they're facing you. So this is obviously the side, but you can see one bar is curved this way and one bar is curved that way. Now, the curve goes to the front of the vehicle, and I guess that's so if you're driving along and you're hitting something off-road or people or whatever, then it gives it more deflection. So this bar here is the one we need for this side here. And basically we've got rivet nuts. So this is an aluminium tube here, but these are steel or even stainless steel rivet nuts here. So we are going to put the bolts, which are the F bolts, and they're going to come up through here into here. So I'm going to copper grease them. So put that down carefully. So we will actually need 3 F bolts here. Let's go and have a look at the F bolts. These are the F bolts. So we are copper greasing them up like so. Right, there we go. I've got 3 greased up here. So we haven't got much slottage in here, have we, Tyler? So
no.
We haven't got a lot of wiggle room. They've given us a couple of millimetres of clearance. But let's have a go. Right, so we are lining up this hole. Let's have a look there. Try and find that. Yeah. Oh, they're going sweet. Yeah, if you don't want to cross thread that little one there. And again, you don't want it too tight because it will still give me a little bit of wiggle room, look, to line everything else up. A bit of a little look-see, there we go. So you can see, there you go, they all line up beautifully. That one's all lined up. So we'll get those put in loosely and then get them all, we'll check which order we need to do them up in. Right, so when you've got those 6 F bolts tight, what you need to do is, where you've left those other brackets loose, everything should now be in line. So the process is now you tighten the bolts going up, those big long steel bolts, you tighten those and fix the brackets in place now. So we'll have a look what the torques are, and then you torque the smaller bolts at the front, these ones, and we can still see them if you come and have a look here, Tyler. These 2 here. God, my hat's under there, Tyler. What's it doing under there? So we tighten these 2 here, and then the brackets are in place. And then we have to undo the side step, take the side step off, then we can start to put back the undershields and the sill steps. So what we'll do, we'll get on with that now. We'll take this off and we'll jump back at places. One thing I want to show you, I want to look at myself, is how those undershields, those cutouts we made, how close they are, just so you can see why we made those cutouts in the under trays, these, and in the, what I would call the sill covers. Right, we will get on and I'll get my hat back. Actually, one thing to note is it doesn't make a lot of difference, but it's actually slightly easier when you're fitting these brackets to have the door open, so you can see these areas a lot better. So we've now got that all fully tight, everything's super tight and torqued up. I'm now going to take the steps off. Right, it's just occurred to me, now I've put it all back together and we've followed all the instructions to the T, which you're welcome to do, is you don't need to take any of those undershields off. If you take the outer rocker, they call it a rocker cover, but to me it's a sill cover. If you take that off, the only reason you're doing that, and you'll see now, is to cut this little cut in here. Oh, let me get the camera in the right place. Ooh, to cut this little cutting out so you can get these bolts in this bracket. Right, and that was the whole purpose. Now obviously you've got to cut the sills, but the whole reason for taking these undershields off the bottom of the car is just so you could take them off to make this cut. Now, if you remember earlier when we were looking at this, we saw those little sort of Pac-Man ghosts that we're having a bit of a laugh with. But basically, if you just come down off those 2 Pac-Man ghosts, cut back to the crease on this panel, and you can see where I did it. You can cut that out with a pair of tin snips or a knife, without ever needing to take them off. And I'm sure that's what the dealers are doing. I don't think there's any need to take those off at all. Let me see if I can get the camera to... You see, because I'm lying the camera on the... See, you've only got to just cut round there, and it will save you undoing all the bolts. Now, I've done it all, and we've cleaned all the underside of the car, and I've put copper grease on all the bolts, and I'm more than happy with that. But if I was doing this quick, that's all you need to do is just cut those bits out. And it, as you saw, I cut it with tin snips. It's not difficult. You can pull it down a little bit as well if you're worried about. You can pull it down, and you're in. So there we go. That will save you about an hour, and you hardly then need to do any work under the car because it's just seal cover off. Cut those 4 little things. Obviously, you've got your seals here that you've got to cut, but that's easy, and there's no need to get under the car. So I think there's an unofficial way, and I'll put a link at the beginning of the video to teleport you here so that you can see the shortcut. But at least watch the full video, see how you do it, because it will give you a better understanding of why you don't need to do it. Right, let's crack on. Let's get these seal covers on, and then we are ready to go, fitting the steps, taking the pictures, and getting out of here. Right, we're now ready to fit the seal. So what you need to do is get these little grey clips that you have to order extra. And you need to make them, interestingly, a couple of them have like clung on, they're little cling-ons. We've got one there and one at the front. Look at them, sturdy little cling-ons. Right then. Oh. Right, and they just slip in. Put them to the end, you reckon, Tyler? Yeah. It's not too bad. Right, and then we've got to remove the old ones. Right, you happy with that, Tyler?
Yep.
Yeah. Right, then we've got 2 techniques up our sleeve for this next bit, haven't we, Tyler? We will show you both. So obviously you get left with the damaged clips remain. So I will show you one technique. Now, I'm trying to do it without damaging the paintwork. So one thing, if I go between that little rubber and that plastic bit with a little... What? There you go. That is one way of doing it, right? So you can sort of go in between the plastic and just chisel it off. I'll do another one of those. Whoa. There you go. Okay, so the car's going to fill up with loads of little bits of that. But right, the other way, Tyler, if you pass me that. Which one am I? Have I still got enough room to do this? Just about. Right then. You can go in with this sort of snake's tongue tool. Go in behind there. Now I don't want to scratch the paint, even though you can't see it. And you can, I just put the cardboard behind just to, and then pull that out. They break whichever way you do it. But there we go. So you've got to remove all your broken ones of those. We'll do that now. Right, we are ready. So remember when you're putting these seals on, that rear hole there's actually a bolt in there that holds the back of the back of that sort of rear deflector on. That bit there. So we'd actually put that in because we were just happy putting bolts in, but we've just taken that out again. So we're going to get that in. We've got to get these clips in, which are behind the wheel arch. But let's sort of, it's going to be a bit tricky, isn't it, Tyler? We're going to have to go. We might have to be 2 of us on this. We'll have a look. Let's have a look. So obviously I've got to get it over these brackets now, which I did now originally. Oh, there we go. I've got that in. Maybe I'll just leave it. Leave it like that. Yeah. Right. I think I'm going to. At least that's holding it. So then I can come to the back here. It's not the greatest. Yeah, that's not too bad. I'm in there. Alright, should I risk it for a biscuit, Tyler? Right, we've just took 2 of us, but we've just sort of fought that. It's still fighting me a bit, Tyler. But let's have a go. Right then. That's all. I've got that one inside there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Push that in. There's no other clips. So where was we had a white clip that we've put back on in. Was there a little white clip on the end here, Tyler?
Yeah, at the bottom there was.
Yeah,
we might have to replace it.
Yeah, we need to get a clip there. I don't know if you can twist it. Can you see it if I twist it, Tyler? It should be on that peg there, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll just get a white clip. We'll do that at the end. So that's another thing to add to your shopping list. Whoa! Another thing to add to your shopping list might be a couple of those white clips, I think.
That we sell.
We'll put that, we sell. We'll put them on the list because the whole car's held together with those. Right, let's move along here, Tyler. And then we got those 2 there. They just positively clip in. Right, we fitted the white clip on there. I don't know if you can see it, Tyler. There.
Yep.
So that should now have my... Right, now we've got to get this wheel arch liner right, haven't we? That wants to be on the inside, doesn't it? The wheel arch line want to be on the inside? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So let's get that.
Get in.
Yeah. There we go. Right, so that is all that done. That's all that done. Right, we've got the little popper clips that are here to put back in. So we will put these back in. When you put these, you've got to separate them like that, and then just slide them up. And have a quick. We'll do one under here, shall we, Tyler? Well, I've taken the middle bit out. There you go. So you may have to just tap them in and then put the middle in there. Yeah, they're not really intended for multi-use, are they? They're quite effective though. They do hold it tight, don't they?
Yeah.
So right, we'll get all those in. You don't want to watch me struggle with those, but again, I'll suggest you get a few of those spare just in case they break when they're going back in. I'm just putting this back together. There's a slight crack there. Can you see that? I'm just gonna use our soldering iron. This is a bit of a heathen use of a soldering iron. That way we'll do a quick. Should use the plastic welding gear really, shouldn't we? Right, so with that repair now, I can put the grey clips in there, and that. Good. Right, these are supposed to be set at distance, but as long as you've got a gap between them, I think they seem to be okay. Right, there is a way. Now, which video did we do that in? There is a way. I'll try and put the link to the video. We did that on the.
Is it mud flaps?
From my flat video, Tyler. There's a special way. Now you can't buy these clips. I did try. Can you buy these clips separate from this panel? But you can't. Land Rover only supply it as the full panel. I did check with Land Rover technical help on that. Again, let's get that lip under first. And then get the bottom clips in and we're home and dry. Right, side steps fitted. Tyler will show you that. Thank you very much for helping with those, Tyler. We did lots of line on our back. But let's do a little roundup when you've had a look at that, Tyler. Have a little skirt along so you can still see your jacking points. It doesn't obscure your jacking points. Your jacking point is still under the side. It will give you some side protection. If you think about that, when I lent the car to a friend, Tyler, and we got that damage on the side, these are going to take a lot of shopping trolley type damage, aren't they, to the side of your car? So they're going to protect it. Come this way, Tyler. You come this way. Is it going to give us much aid to entry? It is going to give us a bit of an aid to entry, isn't it? It's also handy if you want to get stuff on the roof rack. You're tall enough already, Tyler, but there you go.
Got to you already.
That's it. Yeah, they look alright. Sometimes you do feel they're a bit. Oh, that's pretty good actually. That's alright. I like that. That works. I'm gonna go with my mucky prints on it. There you go. Ruin that. Right. Some points to note. 1. If you have weight sensors, if you're lucky enough to have weight sensors that work, you may need to watch it. Now, Tyler and I think they're actually going to be pretty much out of the way, aren't they? Because the weight sensor is this one here, and I don't think he's going to catch it. But we will have a look. We will, when we get the weight sensors fixed, we will take the step off because it's quite easy to take the step off, and we'll see what difference it makes. You've got some extra protection. If you're doing it, you do not need to take those under trays off. So hopefully by us doing the full process, I'll put the notes together to show you don't need to do all of that. I think that's it. So you've got to remember to order the steps. You've got to order your 30 clips, the grey clips. You've got to order some of your black clips. And you've probably got to order a couple of white clips for that bit there on your wheel arch. Other than that, I don't think that's too hard a job. Do you, Tyler?
Nah. Just time.
Time, yeah.
And cleaning.
So, good luck with that. I'm just happy to have my Defender back and get that job finished. So good luck if you're having a go at that.